everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having a really good Sunday. If in fact it is still Sunday, wherever you are. Sunday musing is a bit late today. I'll take that perfectly on the chin. We have some good news. I'm going to bring this down. This is Grace and some of her chicks. There are 6 chicks in total that are now doing their thing and learning how to be chickens. It's really fun because Grace scratches, and then the chicks basically go in after and pick up all of the worms and grubs that Grace has uncovered. And it's really nice because it's nice and sunny right now, and that means obviously that Grace can be outside with her chicks. And I think that's really good for them all. They really enjoyed that. She didn't enjoy me doing the mowing this morning or the strimming that I was doing this morning. I'm just moving into the shade because it's really, really hot out today. I hope that you've enjoyed the chicken updates. We'll keep doing them. We need to put an electric fence up because I think, as I mentioned last week, we've lost 2 chickens to coyotes. So we need to put an electric fence up, which we've picked up today. And we're going to put a little electric fence area so that the chickens have plenty of places to go and some shade, so they're not always in direct sunlight, which I think they're going to really enjoy. But that is not what I want to talk to you about today. I want to talk to you about weird car controls. What's the weirdest car control that you've ever had or ever experienced? Last week we were talking about the Tesla Model S Plaid and its yoke-based steering wheel. And some of you don't like that. Some of you do. Based on some of the footage of people using it, it looks like it's kind of hard to use, at least to begin with. And it got me thinking about weird controls. And as you know, earlier this week I did a video discussing how Tesla doing weird controls isn't all that unusual because there's been plenty of cars over the years that have had weird and strange controls. One of them being obviously the twike. I was talking about the twike and how it has a tiller rather than a steering wheel, so that you can then use your feet to pedal and the steering wheel doesn't get in the way, because it's available as both an electric vehicle and then an electric vehicle with pedal assist, which is a really weird experience. Using the pedals at 50 miles an hour while the trike is going along, while the twike even is going along the ground. It is a trike as well, so trike and twike, I guess, is correct in that regards. But today's thumbnail features the forward-reverse selector on the City L, which was my first electric car, and you might recognise the City L. Rich Rebuilds had one. He crashed it, which I'm still kind of annoyed about because they are really rare. The Mini L, the City L, it had two names in its lifetime. They never really got here to the United States. There was a small number that were exported. And then I think someone rolled one during a test drive and there was talk of legal action. So they stopped importing them at that point. And so there was a handful of them in the US that were actually imported brand new. And the rest are ones that have come here over time. They're really hard to get hold of. I would personally love to have one here just as a fun little vehicle. And I would treat it like a classic vehicle. I might upgrade its battery, but that's pretty much all I would do with it. And I'd take it to car shows and things. So if you happen to know of one in the United States, let me know, because I'd love to have one to add to the TE fleet, just as a fun, weird, quirky vehicle. Anyway, its gear selector was just an electrical switch. So you threw it up for forwards and down for reverse. There was no neutral per se. There was a neutral position, but it was an electrical neutral. There was no connection between that gear selector and the wheels. There was no parking prawl. You just had the parking brake, the emergency brake, as you Americans call it. And that was pretty much all you had. Obviously, a lot of you have been talking about gear shifts on petrol cars, older petrol cars, whether it be a column shift, whether it's a strange pattern of the box. Some of my weirdest ones are the gear shifts in the 2-stroke cars. So like the old Saab that was 2-stroke, and obviously the Trabant, Both of those had a freewheel gear that you could select, and you could only freewheel, i.e. you could only lift your foot off the accelerator when the car was in the correct gear. And I think that probably classifies as unusual gear selection and unusual controls compared to a conventional modern vehicle. Then of course you have to talk about Model T Ford. I have a friend with a Model T who's promised me a ride in it at some point. The pedals on those are completely different. I mean, different order, they do different things. And then of course, let's talk about motorbikes. We all think about motorbikes, at least I think most people do. You have your clutch on your left hand handlebar, you've got your front brake on your right hand handlebar, and then you have your brake with your right foot and your gear selector with your left foot. But for a long time, especially in the UK, motorcycles were made the other way around. So old Enfields, I don't think they do it anymore, but old Enfields used to have the brake on the left, the rear brake on the left with your foot, and the gear selector on your right with your right foot, and the clutch in the same place and the brake in the front brake in the same place. So obviously that's a bit different now and would take some getting used to. Let's talk about suicide shifters on motorbikes. You have to actually take your hand off the handlebars and move a gear lever on the tank, or maybe on the side of the tank. I think my dad had one with a gear lever on the tank at one point. But again, that's weird and unusual. So I want to hear from you guys about all of the different gear selectors, all of the weird gear selectors and control mechanisms that you've encountered over the years, whether it's for indicators, whether it's for lights. My original Morris Minor had a dip switch on the floor for the lights. I used to love that because I could operate the clutch and do my dipped headlights at the same time, which I always used to think was really cool. And of course, tractors have weird brake controls. If you've never driven a tractor before, very often older tractors will have two separate brake pedals, and getting used to using those can sometimes be a bit of a challenge. So leave your stories and tales of weird control mechanisms in the comments below. Thank you to the amazing folks on my right. I'm sorry I don't have the Patreon list with me right now. It is super hot, and I wanted to show you the chickens, and I didn't want to be fumbling around with my iPad, which is what all of the scripts that I read sit on. And obviously Sunday musings are always completely non-scripted. So just know that we appreciate you, you rock, and we're very grateful for your support. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. YouTube is doing its weird thing again. We've received notifications this week that people have been unsubscribed from our channel again. People are not getting the YouTube notifications again. So please check, because it makes our viewer count tank. We've noticed in the last week our viewer count has tanked again, and it's because of this automatic thing going on. I don't know what's causing it. It's frustrating me, it's frustrating everybody else at TE, but we are aware of it and we're going to try and work to resolve it. Next week we've got some great new content for you, and then not the week after, but the week after that, July 4th week, we're going to be doing some guest videos. We're going to be doing some non-live videos. I'm going to be making a road trip, which I can't talk about right now, but let's just say it's a long road trip. It's one we've just bought flights for, and I'm super excited. So there'll be some content coming off of that, as well as a couple of challenges. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm going to go and melt. It's too hot. And as always, keep evolving.